Hello, welcome to Jason's vlog for February 12th, 2008, and I'm reporting just for the week of Monday, Monday, February 4th to Tuesday today. This was a really, really busy week for me, probably the busiest week I've had in Korea itself. So busy, in fact, that I wrote a list down, so I'm going to be reading that. Okay, to start with, I went to the eye clinic last Monday, right before work, and my eyes are good. I have 20/20 vision as it is now with my LASIK, so that's good. And they asked me to come back on, in 2 months. And then I worked a full day after that because Caleb and Seth were gone, and I had to, so I worked a full day because they were gone to Vietnam and I had to cover for Caleb. On Tuesday, I cleaned my apartment with Ange. We got everything pretty much as together as we could. Even though it's a fairly big apartment for a studio, it's still small enough to be kind of constricting with 4 people living in it. So we got all that finished, and then we went to the airport to get Mark and Gabe, and then they came out. And that was a lot of fun, and this is part of the reason why it was so busy. So when Mark got here, we came back and we had some galbi and stuff, and then on Wednesday, the next day, we went to the Yongin Folk Village, which is right by my place. It was my second time there, but it was pretty cool. We got to see some cool performances and see it in the winter, which was a lot less pleasant than in the summer, but it was still fun. And then on Thursday we went to Suwon Fortress. This was the Lunar New Year, which is a very, very popular holiday in all of East Asia. And it's known as Tet in Vietnam, and I don't know the rest of the names, but it's called Seonal in Korean. Anyway, we went to Suwon Fortress because that's open all the time. We just took a bus there. A lot of stuff was closed that whole day, but we walked around, and we did the whole wall, which I had never done yet before, so I was pretty happy about that. It was really pretty, even in the winter, because the last time I was there was early October. The next day we went to Gyeongbokgung, the main palace in Seoul, and got to walk around there. We got some pictures taken, things like that. It was pretty fun. Afterwards we went to the folk museum, and that was actually a lot more interesting to me because I'd been to Gyeongbok before, and I hadn't been to the folk museum. After that we went to Insadong, the arts district of Seoul, kind of the traditional district, and that was really cool. I always like going there. It seems like a really cool and fun place to go, and I'll probably find myself there a couple more times before I leave Korea, which is only going to be in about 3 months, a little bit more, almost 4 months, I guess. Anyway, and then we went to Itaewon afterwards, and we got a hotel there because we had a tour of the DMZ the next day. Walked around, and I got to show Mark and Gabe Hooker Hill, and maybe Homo Hill. I don't really know which one is which, but anyway, needless to say, it was fairly seedy for them, so it was a good experience. The next day we got up nice and early, and we went to the DMZ, or we went to Camp Kim, and we went to the DMZ, which is my first really new experience this week. The DMZ was a really, really interesting thing, and it had me thinking for several days afterwards, up until yesterday. And basically what we did is we went around, and we went with the USO, meaning the Army was kind of more or less the host, that they got to take us out, and we went to Panmunjom, which is a pretty famous thing. It's in We Didn't Start the Fire by Billy Joel. But Panmunjom is a city that was leveled during the Korean War, and then it's become kind of the center of like peace talks and things like that, And I got to learn a lot about North Korea, and kind of both North and South Korea's propaganda, and that was pretty cool. Let's see. So after and then we also went down the third tunnel. And I learned a lot about the Korean War this way. The third tunnel, by the way, is a series of tunnels that go beneath the DMZ. There's 4 tunnels in all that they discovered, and they think there's possibly up to 20 more. But the tunnels are all basically this way of staging kind of a mass invasion by crossing beneath the DMZ. Anyway, the tunnels. But I learned a lot about the war itself, which I found really interesting, and it made me kind of realize just how lucky I guess I am that things kind of worked out the way they did in a way. But they're really pretty horrible for the North Koreans as far as I understand it. But it made me very, very curious about North Korea, so I ended up spending a lot of time and many days researching North Korea and kind of the politics that are going on after that, and found it's pretty scary. I've been trying to keep an open mind, being an American and living in South Korea, where obviously things aren't going to be very favorable for the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. So that was kind of it. Anyway, after we got back from that, we went to the War Memorial, and that was really fun. I got to see a lot of stuff that I hadn't seen, and it was really interesting. And we went inside, and I got to see kind of the military history of Korea, which was really pretty fascinating. And a lot of it, as you can imagine, was concentrated on the Korean War, but there's even prehistoric stuff, which I thought was pretty cool. And then that night we went back to Dongbuk, and when we got here, we went to, or after the next day started, Angela left for Thailand, and we went to the COEX, and Samsung, yeah, and that was pretty fun. The COEX was interesting, and I was really happy because I got to show Mark and Gabe the temple, the Buddhist temple that was there, and they were really pretty fascinated by that, especially Mark. And then we went back inside the COEX, and I tried to show them where they have the stagings for the StarCraft games, but that was down that day, unfortunately. Afterwards, Mark was really pretty insistent that we go up to Seoul Tower, and I was very reluctant at first, but we went up, and that was actually a lot of fun. I got to see a lot of cool stuff and see some things, and then I was pretty anxious to get back because I know how it sucks to be stuck in Seoul, and I had work the next day. So I wanted to get back, and we went down to Seoul Station and started walking up towards a gate called Namdaemun, which is like the oldest wooden structure in Seoul, and yeah, it was burning by the time we got there. So I got some pictures of that. Very fascinating. Something I was really interested to see. And yeah, we got some pictures and came back home after we finally got a bus. And the next day, on Monday, Mark and Gabe went to Gyeongju. So they took a train, and yeah. And so they're supposed to get back tonight. I'm really kind of curious to see what they think. It's one of the cities that I really want to see. There's 2 more cities that I'm really interested in. That Gyeongju is one, Busan is the other. And then after that, I went to work. I looked through some of my pictures, and there's some of the pictures that Mark and Gabe downloaded onto my, or just Mark downloaded them onto my computer. And then afterwards, I was grading some essays, and now I made the video, which is going very, very long. But anyway, you get the idea. So there it is.